Previously, in Tydeus, Grimdark epic hero, we took a look at the story of Tydeus. Once the favourite of Athene and one of the 7 against Thebes, Tydeus descended into cannibalistic fury when he ate the brains of his rival Melanippus. The longest and most vivid depictions of Tydeus in the ancient sources are found in the Thebaid, a 12-book epic poem by the Roman poet Statius. In the last episode, we considered the popularity of the poet Statius in medieval times. Indeed, Statius was massive in the Middle Ages. And our next author, Dante, was a total Statius fanboy. Dante was such a fan that he located Statius in purgatory, on the somewhat tenuous pretext that Statius was a closet Christian. I mean, yeah, he was kicking about in the 1st century AD, but seriously? Frankly, I reckon Statius would have been forever cursing his placement there rather than out in the outer circles of hell, where he could have kicked about with Homer, Virgil, and Ovid and those guys, but, there you go. Dante's Inferno has multiple references to and characters from the Theban myths, and presumably his main source for those was Statius. Canto 14 features Captions, the one with the ladder, and Canto 20 features the prophets Amphiaraus, Tiresias, and Manto. Tydeus himself does not feature in the Inferno, and he certainly doesn't feature in Purgatory or Paradise, but that kind of goes without saying. However, in Canto 32 of the Inferno, Virgil takes Dante through the 9th circle of hell, where reside people who have betrayed their family members. There, Dante spies 2 figures, frozen into ice, one seemingly superimposed upon the other. Then I beheld 2 men frozen in one hole, and it was like one's head was a hat for the other's. Just as bread is devoured through hunger, the man on top set his teeth into the other, right where the brain joins the nape. No differently did Tydeus gnaw the temples of Melanippus in a rage. Then this man chewed the skull and his other bits. It's kind of sweet that though Dante didn't find a space for Tydeus in hell, at least Tydeus has the dubious honour of inspiring a torment. At this point, I was going to jump from medieval Florence to 17th century England and John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost. And I was going to talk about George Butler's 2006 paper, The Fall of Tydeus and the Failure of Satan, Statius's Thebaid, Dante's Commedia, and Milton's Paradise Lost. But I don't know. Having read it, I just don't buy it. Though, who am I to say? So, yeah, I'll read Butler's conclusion, give a citation in the description, so if you're minded, you can check it out for yourself. Butler concludes, like the monster, Briareus, to which he is compared, Tydeus fights gloriously in the Thebaid, but he will ultimately fall into disgrace and lose immortality. Satan, too, will valiantly plot the damnation of humanity and his revenge against God, but his actions will ultimately fail. The figure of Tydeus, both in Statius's Thebaid and Dante's Commedia, allows Milton to comment on the failings of classical heroism, which Satan so fully manifests. So anyway, we'll skip Milton and go straight from Dante to that other titan of culture, Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, or more properly to his supporting actor Aksel Hennie in the 2014 movie Hercules, directed by Brett Ratner. In that movie, Hennie plays the role of Tydeus. This Tydeus is a ferocious and fearless fighter, kept chained up at night, and he does not deliver a single line until his first and only dying word, Hercules. Over the course of the movie, his backstory is revealed. Hercules and his band of mercenary adventurers discover Tydeus amidst the ruins of Thebes, a traumatized and feral war orphan. As Dwayne Johnson's Hercules puts it, Tydeus is my most loyal warrior. He was born in war. When I found him, he was more animal than human. He never speaks of what he saw. He never speaks at all. But he relives it every night. Clearly, his childhood trauma prematurely aged Tydeus. Hennie was in his late 30s when he played the role, a similar age to most of Hercules' crew. One might also query the ethical implications of Hercules' child war victim rehabilitation program, or quite why Tydeus was found as a survivor of the war at Thebes. That's more than a departure, but a full-scale reversal of the tradition. But hey, it's just a fun movie and I'm not going to quibble. But notwithstanding the slight discontinuity in Hennie's age, he certainly looks the part. In fact, I'd go as far as saying it's difficult to imagine anyone who could portray the role of Tydeus better. At 1.73 metres, according to Wikipedia, Hennie's not exactly short in absolute terms, but he is compared to Johnson standing next to him. And he looks mean, fierce, and tough as hell. He looks like Tydeus to me. To quote Homer's Athene again, he was small in stature, but a fighter. Furthermore, and this really pleased me, Hercules and crew come across a slaughter ground piled up with bodies and heads on stakes. Tydeus pokes a burned and decomposing head, then meditatively licks the gore off his finger. It's a touching and unexpected nod to the tradition. So this brings us nearly up to date, or at least to 2014. I'm not aware of any more recent depictions of Tydeus. If any of you guys are aware, or if you have a favourite depiction of Tydeus that we've not covered in this video, or if you think he's inspired any other character, well, you know what to do. Comment below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos on epic heroes and other aspects of the classical world, its influences and reception. But let's recap, and I'll leave you with one final thought. Tydeus has never lived down his final indiscretion, but he's certainly a memorable and colourful, if transgressive, character. I wonder why he's not been featured more frequently. Perhaps he's just a little bit too extreme. I mean, we like to believe that we want our heroes to be edgy and problematic, just as our villains must have their own humanity. Who knows, though, whether that's changing. But anyway, even so, perhaps some heroes, like Tydeus, have always been just a little bit too problematic to ever really gain the widest exposure. But though Tydeus might have been somewhat sidelined in the literature and in popular culture, his legacy in the field of entomology is secure. What more fitting tribute could there be for a small, creepy, bitey dude than to have an entire genus of mites named after him?